Does it take a great organization? Is just the four of you, or do you have more people helping you with the whole tour?
No, we've got a lot of managers.
Well, in Hard Ride, you saw Duncan singing, but he also plays the piano and the guitar and composes. Duncan, I know you've written a lot of children's songs.
I think that when you write for children, you've got to write things a lot more simple.
You wrote over 80 songs, didn't you?
We work quite hard.
It is.
Next, our third act now comprises three young men, Duncan Faure, his friend Raymond Miller, and another friend, Franco Del May, and here they are to give you a wonderful song called Pete Hand.
Recently, Duncan Faure paid a whistle-stop visit to South Africa. I spoke to him and welcomed him back home.
So I went to Dublin, went to Scotland, went to London, went to Munich, back to London, then to LA, back to New York, to LA, and then came home.
And that's what, an average of 2 a week, was it?
Yeah, two for a program and 4 a week. I went for about a year.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Duncan, I know that one of your early bands here before Rabbit and all of that happened was a little project you had called Orange Cash Boat.
That's right, yes.
I mean, what are your memories of that?
It was a kid group. It started when I was 11.
Some of your writing was actually
right.
starting at that point?
Right. Yeah, there's 2 on here, actually.
Girl on Her Own and Chi Chi Boo Boo.
How did you...
Because I know these things. I want to hear you talk about these things. When you think back on those songs, I mean, what were they good songs in your estimation?
Better than what I'm writing now.
Rock group Rabbit are leaving for the United States in about 6 weeks' time for their first overseas tour.
Nothing really happened until Rabbit. Rabbit with Trevor Rabin, myself, and Ronnie Robot, Neil Cloud.
I mean, certainly you knew about Rabbit before joining them. I mean, they were already...
No, they were, it's, let's get this straight. No, when I joined them, there were 3 people in the club. I know it's been put around as was this big hit and all that before, which we never... No, we started, there were 3 people in a club, and then we had what we called our incubation period, where we played 6 nights a week for 9 months. It's kind of like, you know, you hear the Beatles stories in Hamburg, where they just had to play and play and play. That was I had Trevor Rabin's guitar in my ear. And to this day, I'm grateful I always wore earplugs so I can still hear, because he didn't, Trevor doesn't know 9. You know, in those days, the amps did actually go, he knows 11.
The first record is Boys Will Be Boys.
Boys Will Be Boys, yes.
Right.
And then Croak and a Grunt in the Night.
Exactly.
And then Rock Rabbit.
That's right.
Which had a hit Getting Through to You on it.
And when did sort of the momentum for the band start picking up? When did that kind of that Rabbit mania thing start happening?
One night we did, we just got out of the club, we did our very first concert, and there was one girl, she came up and she started screaming in front of me, and I've never forgotten that. Just a, and it was like, what you know, what is this? And she went off, and 3 weeks later we went to a place called Cape Town, and it was just went from one girl to like 3,000 screaming at us. And then we just, from then on, we owned South Africa for 3 years. It was, and then we broke up, which was the dumbest thing in the world. And we had police protection. I mean, our last show, we had 19 girls in hospital. Not that that's anything to be proud of. But I remember the manager going in, better be there, because in case we get sued, he was, you know, dealing with all the parents. But people were getting crushed and so on, just like, and it was just amazing. It's unbelievable that we broke up. It's actually more unbelievable than how quickly it happened for us.
I mean, can you describe what that adulation felt like? I mean, going from basically this band,
from nowhere to,
you know,
suddenly having
with 3 buddies, and then what does that feel like? I mean, so few people ever get to experience that.
I don't know. You know, when you're that young, you don't realize how lucky you are to have what you've had. We had everything when we were younger. Roadies. I can just remember you'd pick up your guitar and just throw it, you know, and there was somebody catch it. And you know, and we were in our mini Beatles. We all thought we were like mini Beatles, you know. And the thing that went wrong with Rabbit is you'd read things in the paper. You know, we've always been interviewed, and you'd say something, and you know how it gets. And he'd say something, and we'd read it, really, you know.
Right.
And then he'd say, you know, and then eventually there was this whole feud going on in the papers, and we just over nothing, really. It was huge for 3 years.
3 years. It's unbelievable. I really think at the bottom of all of that, though, is the fact that the band really did have unbelievable songs.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
You were an unbelievable singer. Trevor was an unbelievable guitar player. You were an unbelievable writer. It was a great band. I mean, you played those songs so beautifully, and I think had the songs not been there, I mean, you know what I mean, I don't think it ever would have happened. I mean, where did your keyboard thing come from? I mean, you know, there weren't a whole lot of synths in kind of.
We had a great synth, an old Alka, and in those days we had a Hammond organ as well.
Hammond.
Of course, we had the people to carry them.
Right.
That was actually great, having the nice big Hammond, you know, the real deal. And we had a nice Alka on top of it. I remember it was actually very nice for its time. It's actually a lot better than the stuff some of it we have today.
Interesting. So I mean, were you sort of a synth guy? I mean, were you drawn to kind of piano was your thing?
I'm a piano player. I remember Elton said, because later on in life I got to know Elton, and he said, God, I can't play these, because Elton's one of the best pianists, the best pianist in the world. You know, I hate playing these plastic things, and he doesn't realize that, you know, ordinary musicians, very often you get to play these horrible little plastic things, and they play bum notes for you. God, I said, well, that's another story I'll tell you later. Yeah, but a piano's nice. A piano plays for you.
Yeah,
you know, your piano just plays itself. You just have to sit there and it works.
That was a time to remember when loving was free, and all I could see was the love in your eyes, no sign of goodbye. What could I do to you?
So after Rabbit breaks up, I mean, where were you? I mean, was it a feeling of, what do I do now? Was it a feeling of, I want to pursue a solo career? I mean, was it did you feel a little lost? Did you know what you wanted to do?
Yeah, a little lost, but also secure. You know, it's something you enjoy. Suddenly you're away from the boys, you know, and you can be out and go free. And I was offered a record deal there by a guy called Phil Solomon. And he had Pie Records. And to this day I regretted that, because we want to go to America, man. You know, we've got to go see. Pie. And America's a lot harder. Well, of course, I went to America, but I always regretted not taking that record deal offer. Because it's immediate. If something happens, just go with it. I've learned that in life. When things happen, you just go with them. You know?
I see. So you ultimately ended up in
I went to America, and then. And it wasn't long I was in the Bay City Rollers, which was brilliant. So I mean, I can't, because I love the Rollers. They're brilliant people. I've got only good things to say about them.
Before you joined the Rollers, though, you actually worked on a solo record, though, right? Or
I
you
was
worked
in Los Angeles, and I met Freddie DeMann. Now here's the story. Freddie DeMann became my manager. Now let me tell you about, you know Freddie DeMann, and I'm so honored to be interviewed by Stephen Rosen, and he's telling me. He's interviewed every McCartney, so I'm very honored to be with you. But anyway, what happened, Freddie DeMann was my manager. And when I got the offer to join the Bay City Rollers, I had an incredible decision. So I joined one of the world's biggest bands, and Freddie was really good about it. So I went up to join the Rollers, which was brilliant, because I had the best time in my life was with the Bay City Rollers. But it was just incredible. But Freddie went on to manage Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Madonna,
yes,
Lionel Richie, he made Alanis Morissette, Shakira, and he's, you know, so he's literally the biggest manager in the world.
Huge.
He had Michael Jackson during Thriller, so he was,
that's right.
You know, the real deal.
Absolutely.
And he's still a friend of mine. I wish he'd get some of my music in films, Freddie. Freddie. He's a billionaire. He doesn't need to work anymore. It's still just a phone call from him.
So when the offer came from the Bay City Rollers, I mean, you came in to replace Les McCowan, the singer, I mean, which was maybe a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. They were very accommodating. They gave me all I was suddenly allowed to write with them. I mean, I wrote much of the material.
I know.
Suddenly brought in, I always felt they looked after me very well, very well. And I'm really pleased I did, because they're good people. To this day, they're my dearest friends.
Oh, that's so cool. So did you actually come in with some songs maybe that you would...
Yeah, I always had songs, and...
you just showed them songs and they kind of...
Woody was impressed with my piano playing, I think, once he saw my piano playing, I think they went... and then, and this is a joke, if you could get 5 words in one sentence and 4 of them had to be F words, you were in the band. So I'm not going to try to, but I got it right. Because that's the Scottish way. So once I got the piano part right, I was able to go. I was in the band.
So you guys come in and record Elevator, which was
in
just
Dublin.
in Dublin.
And it was just great. It was the punk era. So all the guitars, you know.
But you you brought a real musicality to the band. I mean,
Thanks, Steve,
you know,
thank you.
we were talking earlier. I mean, the band really were these wonderful guitar players and you know the drummers and bass players and the vocals and yet it was sort of the image of the band is sort of, you know, like the dog eat. You know, it's like people wouldn't allow them to, you know, maybe go beyond the early image of the band and really, you know, make these great pop rock records, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. The guys were great musicians. Eric is an incredible guitar, Woody incredible, Alan great, and Derek, another incredible drummer, Derek Longmire. And yeah, I mean, once you're a teeny, but it just never let the band forget.
But I mean,
now it's coming. We've had some great reviews. Now people are respecting the band now.
Definitely, definitely. It's sort of like this, what becomes old becomes new again. And,
Yeah.
Honey, don't leave.
Became boxed, yeah. Honey,
don't leave L.A.
Something I wrote in L.A. Silly lyrics. I'm embarrassed. I mean, I wish I had.
Silly lyrics.
A songwriter, you do actually need a great partner. No matter, I mean, the best thing about Lennon was McCartney.
You think so?
And the best thing about it was because they, and I'm not trying to compare ourselves to of course not. But I've never had that apart from Rollers and Rabbits. You know, if you've got I wish I'd had a lyricist, Bernie Taupin, Elton, you know, because I look at my lyrics and go, oh man, you know, geez, if only we'd had somebody put.
Interesting. And the song New York?
New York, self-explanatory. You know, you live in a nice big house at home, so you arrive in New York in a little box, and you yeah.
Can you sort of compare and/or contrast your experience in the Rollers with Rabbit?
Bay Cities was happier.
It was?
It was happier, yeah. Because they're such fun-loving guys. There's so much fun and so much life. Rabbit was very serious. The guys were all on board. You know, the Rollers are just beautiful guy friends of mine. I love Rabbit too. Rollers was. I don't know how we lost that. I think because we never got our royalties. At the end of it, everybody was just losing. I don't know what went wrong. I know half of us wanted to live in America and the other half wanted to stay in England, and that was sort of happening, you see, so.
Yeah. You also did a cover of Bowie's Rebel Rebel?
Yep, we did.
I mean, cool cover. I mean, was he, was Bowie somebody you would listen to kind of back in the day?
I like Bowie a lot.
Bowie.
I don't know if you call it Bowie, right?
Yeah.
Bowie, yeah. And
Bowie.
Another one, who did you mention early on? Les McEwen, the Bay City guy. And you call him Les McCowan, right? Yeah. And my name is Faure. I'm in America, but people on the moon, but they can't get my name right. I can go anywhere else in the world, I go, Faure. Come to America, that's the smartest place in the world. And the other night I went on stage at Ovation. The guy really introduced me as Duncan Faure. I nearly had a Faure. What? It's not Faure, it's Warner. Anyway, no big deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then the Rollers come back for Ricochet, the last record.
Yeah, we went to New Jersey.
Recorded in New Jersey.
Beautiful New Jersey. That was a great time as well.
Was it?
Yeah, because we were in the studio with Kool and the Gang. And we were, you know, oh, there's Meatloaf, you know, having his lunch, and you go and chat with Meatloaf, and there's Kool and the Gang, you know, we were sitting in the jacuzzis with. It was just really a great time.
Yeah.
And ever-present Roller fans popping over walls and standing up.
So there was still no sense that things were gonna fall apart later.
No.
I mean, at this point, doing this third record, things were good.
Yeah. And you know, we broke up just before MTV. Is that stupid?
You broke up
just
before MTV.
Actually.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very sad. I mean,
yeah.
And we had the videos too. We did a video for something Eric Faulkner wrote called Live from the Radio, great song. And we did a video for Riot, the one I wrote.
Yeah.
And Doors and Bars
Doors,
Metal,
Bars,
another
Metal.
thing I wrote.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yes, yes.
Which had another kind of a little Queen
Yeah, that's
sounding
right.
thing,
Yeah,
right?
and that's Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Woody and all those high
Yeah,
voices up in heaven.
exactly.
That they could do. They were great singers, the Rollers. I mean, they were like birds. Somebody said when they like, you know, you just sing a note and all of a sudden all these harmonies appear. And that was what most people don't know is great in the band, because a lot of bands battle with harmonies, you know, and Rollers were just spot on.
They were
very
amazing.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
So the Rollers kind of go their separate ways, and you're
Yep.
sort of left
Holding the bag.
as a solo artist again.
No, Woody and I, Stuart Wood, one of the Rollers, he and I, it was foolish because we were still Rollers, we were still all friends. But I think Derek was tired. I mean, you know what had happened was I'd been in a band since I was 11. So it's guys, and then Rabbit, guys, and then Rollers, guys, you know, and eventually we were still very, very young, and you don't realize how great that is to have a unit, you know, and then, but when you're that age, you don't realize, oh, we don't need, you know, I'm off to America,
right?
You know, and Woody was like this, well, we're an American, and we had a hit in South Africa, I think, called Where's the Music, number two, and that was it. I think Woody and I also had, it just was, to quote the cliche, John Lennon cliche, we'd had enough of the boys and we wanted to get to the girls. The girls are now, you know, the girl, and now we just want to get back to the boys. I mean, I wish the Rollers would get back together.
So in '82 you form
Karoo, yeah, it was
with
off
Stuart.
the desert in South Africa. Yeah, an album that was out in Japan, did fairly well. Woody and I wrote all the stuff. We had a great drummer, also Richie the Albus, and then. And we did very well in South Africa. We went to South Africa, so we had number 2 with something I wrote, Where Is the Music? And they played the heck out of it. I wish they'd play some of that today. Anybody in South Africa, Where Is the Music? Play it.
John Lennon's name has come up several times in this
Yeah,
conversation.
I've always been a fan. I do apologize, yes.
No apologies necessary. I mean, I understand there's some connection with you and John in terms of a song called Tennessee that either he wrote for you or you wrote. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. He signed a book of mine, a scrapbook I had in 1978, and he wrote Love and Dream, what I thought was Fishes, because, you know, just a scribble. Love and Dream Fishes, John Lennon, and I thought, well, he's got that album. I would know Shaved Fish.
Oh, exactly, exactly.
So I thought, okay, that's the Lennon Love, and then I wrote something 25 years later. And I couldn't see what I'd written. And so then I looked at that thing one day, and I thought, I wonder if he wrote Love and Dreamed Wishes. And then I thought, that makes sense. So I wrote a song called Love and Dreamed Wishes. So we're going to record it. We've done the demos. I've done 2 demos. I want to get a decent master of that. So the Lennon title is a song I wrote. And then the other one, Tennessee, you mentioned, is... I used to record most of the Lost Lennon tapes. They played them in LA early 90s, and I never missed a show. And through the episodes, they had, because Lennon never got to finish the song. You know, you had bits of it. He had a piece of it in a different key, and then a year later they had like he had another piece on the one was piano, one was guitar, and it was the same song, different, or just mumble the lyrics, and you couldn't really hear the lyrics. And then eventually I put all the different little versions together, and with a friend of mine, Wayne Coy, you couldn't hear we deciphered the lyrics, and eventually, it's got to be that, and we put his lyrics together. So we actually have a Lennon song that he wrote that nobody's ever heard.
Wow.
Which whether we'd like to do it, and I mean, people have heard the Tennessee demos. I think you probably find them on YouTube. But we put I basically just put the pieces together.
I see.
And a couple of key changes that made it sort of work.
And the song was called Tennessee?
It was called Tennessee. But he's got such an incredible chorus where he sings, America, America, your heroes are alive. Your faded men in glory will survive. Just right there, beautiful lyrics. But Yoko may come and go, or she may give us her blessing, and that would be great.
Unbelievable. I understand you have a connection with another Beatle. Your dog is named...
Oh, no, our little dog's gone, Ringo.
Oh.
We had a beautiful little dog, Ringo, sad. He was the blessing in our family's lives. Just gone, yeah.
Oh.
Little Ringo.
And
yeah.
you touched earlier...
I love Ringo Starr's drumming, man. I'm a huge, besides...
Were you really?
I really am, yeah, because most people don't know, because, you know, being in bands my whole life, I've played many Beatles songs, and I mean, there's nobody like Ringo. I mean, She Loves You is such an ordinary song. You try playing She Loves You with another, even a great drummer. It's thank you, loves you, love. It's actually quite awful. But you put Ringo on it, you know, frothing Ringo, as they say, and it comes along. So I think Ringo needs a lot more credit than people know.
And Duncan, you touched earlier on your brother. I understand that he was sort of a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Can you talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, pull myself together. Yeah, I love my brother. He passed away. Did a major film called Shaka Zulu. He won awards. He's won an Oscar. Awards all around the world. And you know, we're a non-violent family, so it's not, the violence is left out. I'm kidding.
But your brother did see all of your success and heard all of your music.
Oh, he was in the Rabbit Days. Oh, he designed.
So there you go.
The last thing he did, or the second last thing he did in life, was film Elton at Sun City. Elton did a show, let me see, December 93, and Elton did a week at Sun City, and he called it Pissland. Because they drained the water out of the beach, and you know, nice here at Pissland. Well, that's Elton's good.
What was it about Elton that so kind of touched you?
Elton's a beautiful friend. He got me my green card.
He got you your green card.
So he's a very, very caring person.
He
vouched
for you.
He met my mother. Or should I say my mother met Elton? Yeah, he met my mother. He came to see one of the gigs. Woody and I, we did a show in South Africa. And he met my mom. And my mom was looking at his rings. Oh, I love your ring, she said. You know. And then years later, we saw each other in LA. He said, oh, you know, and I was kind of grumbling. I was going, you know, I can't leave the country because if I leave the country, I can never get back. He said, oh, you've got to go. You can't have that. And he made a few phone calls. And 9 months later, green card.
Wow.
So thank you, Elton.
Welcome now our Miss World performers as they ask, let it be right with the world tonight. This is Miss World 1993.
And George Benson sang one of my songs, Let It Be Right in the World.
That's right. Can you talk about that?
What it was, they chose my song as the theme tune for the Miss World. The next thing was great. They had choirs singing it, you know, and the orchestras, and it went on. It played for about, Miss World was broadcast for 2 hours, and they literally had my music going for an hour. I was timing it because I was thinking I was getting PRS, but I never did.
And everybody that we see, let it be right in the world tonight.
George Benson, ladies and gentlemen.
Somehow the PRS just never arrived. I think I went to the arranger or something, and I tried to. Well, I'm the writer. The arrangers, well, there was international broadcast for an hour of my music.
I heard George's version on the show.
A piece of it, yeah.
And a piece of it, and I heard your original version, and your original version just. I mean, George did a great job, but what you did originally with the song was just wonderful. I mean, I really got the essence of that song. Did you have any sense, Duncan, when you wrote the song that there was something special about this one? I mean, do you ever have that sense about your songs? Like, you know, not that one's better, but there's something about a song that seems to resonate more with you than the other songs you've written?
Yeah. That one worked because it was kind of like Give Peace a Chance, but with chords.
Exactly.
So it's one of my favorites. Good.
Is it?
I can remember writing it, and it's got a nice strong hook. Every time you play it, it's got a nice thing to it. You know? And there were colleges in South Africa. They used it. You know, there've been a lot of choir. It's been used on many, you know, for many things because of the statement. Let it be right. Let it be love. Let it be love. All the people in the world, they'd be right in the world tonight. So it's got a nice. They even had a choir boy. I used to be able to do it. Right to the wood, to the wood. How am I doing? So I'm not going to go for a note.
Let it be love, let it be right, let it be all the people in the world. Let it be right in the world tonight. Something new, starting for me.
Another song that you wrote that did some wonderful things for you was 24 for Madonna.
24 Hours.
24 Hours. How did that happen?
You know, it's unfortunate I never wrote that. I sing it. I didn't write it. But still, I got royalties. Freddie Demand, you know, is one, he got me royalties on that, and I did very well on that album. Yeah.
I mean, you sing that amazing, and I'm sorry that I thought you wrote that song.
I wish I did, because...
yeah, that would have been a good one to write.
Yeah, it would have been. That's the one you want to write, is the one on...
Right, but that must have still been pretty amazing. I mean, singing it, you know, do the session. I mean, I know the players.
Right, yeah. I worked with the producers and had me singing harmonies, which I wouldn't have normally done. So that was really nice to have somebody's input.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
So Duncan, your most recent CD is Anthology?
This is Anthology. It's good. It's self-explanatory. The new song is Nightfall. There's something that a lot of people like, something called Nightfall. Which they were doing a documentary on me. We were in a lighthouse, and I had the acoustic, and I wrote Nightfall. They were filming this pretty much like they were doing with the acoustic, and this beautiful sound in this old metal lighthouse. You kind of played that acoustic, and it just resonated all over. And that kind of song almost wrote itself, really.
So when you look at this collection of songs, when you look at this songwriter, this Duncan Faure guy, I mean, what strikes you? I mean, what do you sort of come away with looking at this body of work?
I don't know how to answer that. Stump the team. I wish there was a lot more stuff playing on the radio, but I do have a lot of, you know, every time I talk to somebody in South Africa, oh, they just heard your song, Brother. Oh, we just heard New Today. And Where is the Music? I mentioned Where is the Music? So that keeps us going, and a lot of these songs are getting played.
That's great. And
Nightfall's been played quite a bit over here too on many radios.
And is there also a CD called Kick of the Rhino?
There, this rhino's been poached. This poor rhino's had hell.
They said you'd gone and left your own life. Was it you were?
And at this point, go to rockgodsvip.com.
No. That's not at this point. I'm just saying as you point.
Oh.
As you point, just saying.
Elton said once, musicians are as thick as a plank, but he doesn't realize every time musicians meet you, you're like, I can't speak, and it's Elton. And you said earlier on, when you meet, you go,
exactly.
You kind of say, Elton thinks musicians are dumb, but
exactly.
He's right. But B, we can't speak because we're with somebody. All right, what do you don't want me to say?
Sing it.
At this point.
No. Point.
I got it. No. That was the joke. That was the joke. No. Okay. Go to rockgodsvip.com.
They said you'd gone and left your own life. Was it you